What's going on, dudes? My name is Nick, or you might also know me as RGA Gaming, and welcome to the BroZone. That's right, guys. This channel is going to be kind of a community channel. It's primarily going to be content provided by me, but also you'll probably see Chris or John or other guests on here as well. And this is going to be a channel where we kind of talk about stuff. I'll probably upload other things here like vlogs and other things like that we're doing, but I wanted a channel to kind of separate my real life stuff from my gaming stuff. And there will be some crossovers like today's video, which is going to be primarily about Minecraft servers. It's a question that I get asked a lot, and it's something that I want to take the time to kind of walk through. So before I get started, I want to let you guys know that this is not going to be a step-by-step tutorial on how to make a Minecraft server. If you guys are looking for something like that, then there are plenty of other videos on YouTube. Just go check them out. I mean, literally just go on YouTube and type how to make a Minecraft server, and you'll probably get, I don't know, 1,000 videos or something like that. But this video is more on the behind the scenes stuff, the stuff that like most people wouldn't think about. They just think, oh, I want to run a Minecraft server, and to them it just seems like something that like is super simple, but it's not. And this video is going to talk about why. Now, the reason it's over on this channel is because I wanted to kind of separate it, like I said, from my gaming content. So I want to create this stuff over here. So if you guys are interested in videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. There should be a button like either down on this side or something that will allow you to subscribe. So definitely click that if you're interested in this stuff. You know, we're going to talk about a lot of different things on here. So there will be a lot of cool things on here. So make sure to subscribe here. And if you're also interested in the gaming side, then go over to those channels there. All the links will be in the description below, so check that out, and let's just get into this video. Like I said, one of the most common questions that people ask me is, how do I make a Minecraft server? And the reason I never really respond to that is because if you have to ask me that question, then obviously running a Minecraft server is not for you. It's just not. I'm sorry, but you know, even if you've got the best intentions, if you have to ask, how do I create a Minecraft server, running a Minecraft server is probably not something you're going to be able to do. It's one of those things that if you really want to do this, it's going to take a lot more effort than just asking a simple question like that, because there is so much involved that people really just don't understand with this sort of thing. And it's one of those things like, fine, if you have a couple friends that you want to play Minecraft with somewhere, then yeah, you have some solutions. You can go to Minecraft's official site and you can download the Minecraft server jar, and then when you run it, it'll actually just pop up a little window on your computer that has like the server info. It has a little console. It has some stuff that you can mess with, and you basically have your own Minecraft server. Now, the problem with that is unless your friends are at your house connected to your Wi-Fi or your network, then they're not going to be able to access it from the outside world, which is another question that people ask me is like, you know, how do I use port forwarding, or how do I use, what the heck is it, Hamachi or something like that? There are multiple ways to do that, but again, it's one of those things that I'm not going to cover because it's just, there's so many videos out on the internet about that stuff that it's just easier to go that route. I would say there are risks and benefits to both of them. Personally, if I were to do something like this, I would more than likely do the port forwarding method, but also, like me personally, I would not run it on my own computer, because that means you have to give your IP address to someone on the internet. It also means you have now opened a port that they can come in, and any security vulnerabilities that the clients you're running have could then pass on to you and get yourself infected with the virus, and it's not worth it. So that leads us to the next option. If you don't want to run it on your own home computer and let other people access it, which, like I said, if you're not just playing with friends, that could get pretty dangerous. So the next option is going with professional hosting. So that can mean a whole lot of things. It could mean from literally going on Google and type in Minecraft server host, which there are plenty of out there. And, you know, originally when I first started Performium, Actually, it wasn't even called Performium back then. It was called hub.rjminecraft.com. So how many of you guys watching this video actually remember hub.rjminecraft.com being a thing? It really didn't get that popular because it was basically my testing server. I wanted a server that I could go on and like mess around with, do some coding. It's actually where I learned how to code Minecraft plugins. So initially it was hub.rjminecraft, which I don't even know what that points to anymore. It might point to the old IP, it might not even point to anything. But the thing was, like, that was my first server, and it was just a single server running on a Minecraft host. I mean, this is before I knew what BungeeCord was, and you're probably, if you don't know what BungeeCord is, stay tuned. I'm going to talk about that here in a second, but it kind of opens up the next can of worms. So basically, when I wanted to run my own server, I did start off on my local computer, and I did some stuff there, and then I realized, you know, I can't open my computer up to the internet, so then I went with a hosting provider. And what that did was basically, hosting providers, for the most part, are you go to them, you create an account, you select the server type that you want, and then you're able to take that server and run it. So they basically do all the hard part for you. They maintain it, they run it, they stop it, they check for errors and all that fun stuff. So if you end up going the hosted route, then that's probably the easiest way to get started. You just get a single server from them. They come back and say, okay, here's your IP and your port. Here's how to access your server. And they make it super simple. There's, you know, a start button, a stop button, a change Minecraft version button. Usually there's a lot of other tools that they have in there, certain plugins and stuff like that you can access. And it's all through the click of a button. You don't really need to have much Minecraft knowledge or really know how any of the server stuff works. So, you know, if you're a new beginner at stuff like this, then that's usually the easiest route to go, is to go with a hosted service provider. Now, when I tell people to go check stuff like that out, what they usually come back with is, oh my God, you gotta pay for that? And yeah, you do. You know, these companies exist for a reason. They're not running servers and renting space to be able to give out free Minecraft servers. It costs them real money to run this stuff. So, of course, when you go to sign up, you're going to have to pay real money. So I would say that stops a lot of people right there. As soon as they realize that they got to pay for something, then they're like, whoa, I am not paying for this. You know, forget that, I'm done. So then, like, right away, that just tells me, okay, well, obviously, if you're not able to pay for this, then this is not something that's right for you. Now, once you get past the payment, if this is still something you want to do, if this is something you have the money for, and this is really something you want to do, then you go ahead and you rent a server. And, you know, maybe you want to have an SMP server and you start running that, and, you know, maybe it starts getting really popular. You start getting a lot of people on there and it starts to lag. So you're like, okay, well, let's go ahead and bump up to the next plan, because usually hosting providers have different tiers of plans. They might have like a starter level, which is like, you know, you can have up to 10 people on here, and then maybe 20 people, and then 40, and then 80, and then 100, 500, you know, whatever it is. And they have all these plans that support these different amounts of players. And as your server grows, you have to be able to grow with that. Now, here's a problem that a lot of people hit if they do hit the growing pains like that, and that is, you know, what happens when people get bored of just a standard SMP server? That's when it would be nice to have multiple servers. Maybe you want to have an SMP server because it's doing well, but then maybe there's some really interesting type of server that they want. So then you're like, okay, well, what other type of server would you guys want? And then they come back and say, okay, well, we want a Skyblock server. So then you get on Google and you start Googling everything, and you're like, okay, well, how do I run a Skyblock and an SMP server on the same box? And you find out that unless you're a coding professional, then there's absolutely no way to do that with just vanilla Minecraft. And you know, there might be, I take that back. There are people that have done some really crazy stuff with command blocks, but you know, for the most part, if you're trying to make a Skyblock server, you need the Skyblock plugin. As soon as you put that plugin on a regular server, it now becomes a Skyblock server, which means in order to have that, you have to have 2 servers. Well, unless you want to tell all of your players, okay, guys, connect to skyblock.mydomain.com if you want to play Skyblock, and if you want to go back to the SMP, disconnect and go to smp.mydomain.com, and then you'll be back on there. And honestly, that's not a good way to get into things. So then you realize, okay, well, let me go on Google and start typing in how to have one entry point for multiple servers in Minecraft, and you come back with something like BungeeCord, or one of the flavors of the offshoots. And then you realize that, okay, what the heck is BungeeCord? And, again, this is something that it makes sense if you know what it is. But if you've never really dealt with internet technologies, you probably wouldn't understand the proxy server aspect of Bungie. And I say that word, and a lot of you probably sitting there like, what the heck is a proxy server? I've never heard of such a thing. The best way to describe a proxy server is basically, let's think of it like a house. Okay, so your hosting company has all the servers and stuff in it, and let's say you have like multiple servers. Let's say you have a Skyblock and an SMP server. Well, normally you have to connect directly to the front doors of each of those servers, but since those servers are basically going to be contained in one bigger server, then that's when BungeeCord comes into play. So basically what you want to have is one front door that will then connect those players to one of your other servers. So let's say you put a BungeeCord server up, and then the two small servers behind it. Well, BungeeCord is going to say, okay, well, here's the front door. What do you want to have happen when a player connects? And you're like, well, I want them to be able to go to Skyblock or SMP. And Bungie's like, listen, I don't know what that means. All I do is I take in traffic and then I send it out to all I do is take in traffic and send it out to the appropriate servers. So then you're like, oh, well, how do I tell it to, how do I let the players select what server they want to play on? Then you realize, okay, now I need another server, a fourth server, which is going to be another Minecraft server, probably pretty small, but this is going to be your hub server. So now what BungeeCord is going to do is you're going to tell BungeeCord, okay, I have 3 servers that are going to be behind you. So when someone comes to the front door, you put them in the hub. And then once the players are in the hub, then they're like, oh, okay, well, how do I tell the player to be able to pick one of the servers to go to whether to go to SMP or Skyblock? Then you realize, okay, I need something on my server that will allow the player to pick what server to go to. And now you're going to be back on Google. How do I make Minecraft players pick the server they want to go to? And you'll probably get some plugin results and then realize that, oh, wow, okay, now I actually have to start looking at plugins. Now, the plugin that you're looking for, there's a ton of different varieties. The simplest one is the server selector that you see on pretty much like any server. And that basically is a plugin that will pop up a little GUI. They'll say, which server do you want to go to? Do you want to go to Skyblock or do you want to go to SMP? They click on it and they go to that server. And, happy days, everybody is happy. And they get into your server, they can pick what one they go to, and you are now fine. So now you can see how going from a single server to 2 servers actually isn't a jump from 1 server to 2 servers. It's from 1 server to 4 servers. So keep in mind, you're paying for all 4 of those servers now. So you're going to have your BungeeCord, which, like I said, basically gives you 1 entry point and then allows them to access the other servers behind it, as well as the 2 original servers that you wanted, plus now the third Minecraft server, which is the hub server. So now you've got 4 servers running that you're paying for in order to basically allow players to connect to 2. So costs like that can start adding up relatively quickly. Now, I'm not even going to get into like the super fine details of plugins and stuff like that because there's so much stuff that can be done on network. If you look at Performium, we've got a temp ban system that globally bans players from the entire network, whereas that's not a standard Minecraft feature. So like, let's say someone is hacking on your Skyblock server, you ban them. Well, guess what? Now they can go on to SMP. And then you're going to have to go over to SMP and then ban them. And then all of a sudden you find out, hey, they're sitting on the hub trash talking your servers. And you're like, oh my God, now I got to ban them from the freaking hub too. So, plugins like that are going to become a necessity after you have so many servers. Because you don't want to, let's say you have 10 servers. Imagine going to 10 servers and trying to manually ban the same person over and over. Now, technically, yes, you could just ban them on the hub, but depending on your Bungie failovers, if the hub is down, they can still get in. So there are a lot of things that you have to consider. So like I said, not even going to get into that. That's an entire discussion on itself, and that's not the point of today's video. But the point of today's video is that this goes from something that just, if it's something you want to play with your friends on, fine. Start up a Minecraft server on a single box from a dedicated provider. Just get a box and play with it. And like I said, if it becomes something that gets big, then you're really adding a lot of layers of complexity onto there. Now, besides the fact that players can connect to your server, all of a sudden you realize, okay, we've got a lot of players on here, and we now need to create an administration team to be able to actually help players with their issues. Now that, again, is its own nightmare. I could go into an entire rant about the tools and the utilities and the training and stuff like that. And one of the biggest problems I always see is people that are very new to Minecraft don't know how to create a permissions plugin. And if you don't even know what a permissions plugin is, you need to look that up before you even really think about opening a server. Because the biggest thing that I see on very small servers is people will just be like, oh, you're going to help me out? Cool. Here's op/op. All of a sudden they log in the next day. The entire server's griefed. The messages are changed. It's destroyed. All because you gave them op. So a permissions plugin is going to allow you to control permissions based on a user and their group. And it's just that alone can be a nightmare because, again, if you've got 5 servers and you want to maintain all the plugins and all the permissions, let's say you make someone an op on SMP, well, now you got to go on Skyblock and add them on there. Oh, and the hub, you got to add them on there unless you have a system that talks to each other. And this is all stuff that you're going to have to set up yourself. No one is going to be able to really hop on there and do this for you. And I say no one because, honestly, there are a lot of people out there that are very helpful. But there are even more people out there that will say they're going to help you. And next thing you know, a week, a month, maybe even a year later, you're getting hacked by them and they've destroyed your entire network that you worked so hard to build. So security is huge. And if you don't know what you're doing, it is so easy to have major problems with your servers. I'm not even going to get into the major security flaws of Bungie and stuff like that because there are so many ways that people can hack your server even without access. And it's happened to us before, and it's just one of those things that you have to learn from and grow from. But like I said, that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about, again, the growing complexity of running a server. So like I said, basically, the reason I'm not getting into the detail level of things is because this is all stuff, if you want to run the server, that you're going to be responsible for. I say certain things like setting up a BungeeCord server, and it's not as simple as just running something set up, done. It's being able to know the internals of your network, the IPs, the ports, changing internals on your servers, making them run in offline mode, and, making sure that they're only authenticated from that Bungie server. Passing IP information through Bungie. I mean, it's not simple. And there's a reason I don't walk people through how to create a server, because it's not one of those things that I want to support. Because if I say, oh, okay, just go do this, then they're going to come back and say, oh, well, I'm having a problem with this. And there could be a million different reasons why that is the problem. And it's just one of those things that, I have enough stuff to do on my own day, so there's no way I can support 1,000 people trying to set up their own Minecraft servers. Because, I mean, yeah, it would be super easy for me to say, okay, well, this is exactly how you set this up. This is what this means. This is how you find this. This is how you point this. This is how you configure this stuff. And I could do videos like that. But like I said, the reason I've never done that is because it is far more complex than just following a tutorial. Because my tutorial may work perfectly for me. All of a sudden, a new Minecraft update comes out, and then you're stuck somewhere with something that's not working properly. Or maybe you misconfigured it. Or maybe you have incompatible versions that aren't compatible with the version of Minecraft that you're running. And that's stuff that I really can't teach. I mean, that's stuff that you pretty much have to learn firsthand. You have to know how the plugins interact. You have to know the versions. You have to know the configurations and what a lot of this stuff does. And it goes beyond, way above and beyond what the average player knows. People think that the hardest part about a Minecraft server is getting it running. And it is very complicated. Like I said, basically I just walked you through trying to set up 2 servers on a Minecraft Bungie. Now, imagine if you have 10 servers. The biggest thing that you're going to be worrying about is administration. You have 10 servers, and let's say you even if you have permissions set up, now you have to have staff that are on and taking care of all the players' problems. Back when Hub.RG and Minecraft first started, and then even when it became the Ender Race, I used to be on all the time, and, as issues popped up, I was able to help them. Because, I mean, we had between 10 and 20 people on at any time, which is nothing. I mean, that's easy. Out of 20 people, maybe 1 or 2 of them have problems. You go over, fix it, done. Well, let's say now you have 100 people, 200 people, 500 people. It gets massive, because if 1 out of 20 people has problems, then that means what, 20, 30 people out of 400 or 500 are going to have problems at the same time. And with only one person, you can't do it all yourself. So then you have to find people that you trust to be able to do certain things. And there's so much involved with running a server. So like I said, the biggest things you need to think about when you're doing this is, why am I doing this? Do I want to just play with my friends? You know, if that's the case, if you have just like 2 or 3 friends you want to play with, fine. You know, maybe setting up a Minecraft server locally, doing some port forwarding, and, you know, giving them your IP, maybe that's the easiest thing for you to do. And the same thing goes for modded Minecraft packs. A lot of people ask me, oh, how do I set up a modded Minecraft server? Every one of those servers can be completely different, and those are even harder to set up in the regular Minecraft server because a lot of that stuff is very, very dependent on a very specific Minecraft version, and even though you might find the same plugin that it uses, it might be for a different version, so that stuff is even more complicated. And that's why, like, I never have ever tried to ask people that. Like, when people are like, oh, how do I set up a modded Minecraft server? I'm like, don't ask me, Google it. I can do it. Barely. So I don't even want to try to explain to someone else how that stuff works. So, I mean, I don't want you guys to get the wrong impression here. I'm not saying that nobody should ever run a Minecraft server. I'm not saying that it's the hardest thing in the entire world to do is to run a Minecraft server. But what I am saying is it takes a lot of time, because you have to learn things that you've never even known about. And it's stuff that, you know, you might be able to get lucky and go on some forum and ask somebody, oh, how do I do this? And they'll tell you. But a lot of the times, you're solving these problems on your own. It's really not something that you can just, like, all of a sudden one day know. I mean, I've been running it for, oh my God, Minecraft servers for like 6 years, and I still have no idea what I'm doing with certain things. And if it wasn't for the staff team that I have behind me, there's no way I could do what I do. I mean, they go do things at a level that I don't even want to waste my time learning, because it's just, to me, it's one of those things that just, like, I don't want to understand it. I don't have the time to go through and understand it, but they do. And it's taken me a long time to get where I'm at. But like I said, the biggest thing is you have to think about, why are you doing this? Is it just because you want to play with your friends? If it's not, then okay, fine. Do you have the money to get this going? So then that's the next question. Okay, do you have the money to be able to spend on multiple Minecraft servers, on the Bungie servers, on whatever plugins you need, and possibly even people to be able to set those things up for you? So if the answer to those is yes, and this is still something you want to do, you have the money for it, you have the time for it, then the next thing you have to do is realize that you're not just going to create your Minecraft server and all of a sudden get flooded with people. It's not going to happen. No one's going to be on the internet being in Minecraft typing in like, okay, let's try 111.222. whatever. Like, they're not just going to start guessing IP addresses. You have to think about, well, how are people going to get in my server? And maybe you have a few friends that you'll play with and be like, hey, come play on my server. And maybe they have a few friends, and, you know, maybe you end up getting a handful of people on there. And that's kind of what I did in the beginning. But I also was actively recording on my server. And that's how I ended up going from, 15 to 20 people online to over 100. And then from there to a couple hundred, and then up and up and up. And the way that happened was, it was kind of luck too, because, some videos did extremely well, and then that thus promoted the server, bringing more people on because, they wanted to get trolled, or they wanted to play on the dungeons thing that we had going on, or, it could be any number of things. So even if you've got the time, even if you have the knowledge, even if you have the money to be able to make a really cool server, then, there's still limitations. I mean, I'm not even going to get into, like, the building aspects of, like, if you want a really cool spawn. I'm not even going to get into the plugin aspects of, like, World Guard to make sure your spawn stays grief-proof, or, grief prevention plugins to be able to stop people from, like, destroying other people's bases. I mean, that's all part of the setup in my mind. So, like I said, even if you've got all that time and you have this perfect server, you have to think, well, how am I going to promote this? How am I going to get the name of my server out there? And maybe your answer is, well, I've got a lot of money. I'm just going to go on these, like, Minecraft list sites, and I'm going to, like, promote my server to the top. And, you can go look at some of those sites, and the promoted servers are oftentimes, like, 1 person online, 4 people online, stuff like that. I've got, let's see. I've got a couple Minecraft apps on my phone, like Pickaxe Chat and Mine Chat. And actually, Pickaxe Chat doesn't even have ads on it. Mine Chat does have advertised servers on here. So let's just go see how many people are on these servers that are paying to be on there. So featured servers, 0 out of 50, 5 out of 3,000. Promoted servers, These are also people that are paying. 4 out of 2,000, 1 out of 144, 1 out of 500, and 0 out of 111. So these people are spending money on these sites trying to get people to connect to their servers, and you can see it's not really working. So you're going to have to do some thoughts on that. So again, now we've got 4 different things to think about. You know, do you have the time? Do you have the skills? Do you have the money? And do you have the means of promotion? So now you've got 4 things that you have to consider before you ever want to go and try to create a Minecraft server. And if you answer all 4 of those and you still say, you know what, this is still something I want to do, then like I said, this is something you're going to have to go do on your own. To be quite frank, people on support forums are very, very rude. I can't tell you how many times people go on there asking simple questions and they just get made fun of. And it's just, you know, it sucks because that's just the ways of the internet. But like if you go onto a site and say, my Minecraft server won't work, they'll be like, okay, get out of here. And then even if you're more specific, like, hey, I have Bungie and I can't connect to this server, people will be like, you know, well, why don't you tell us about your network? You know, we can't read your mind. How do you have things set up? Paste your configs here. And, you know, this just like if you ask really generic questions, people will just call you out for it. They'll be like, you know, here's a link to Google. Go figure this out yourself. So the support, it's hit or miss, and I'd say it's mostly miss. I mean, you might get lucky and find some old forum post where someone else answers the question, but there's so much involved in it that you're going to have to learn on your own. You're going to have to try stuff, you're going to have to change stuff, you're going to have to break things, unbreak things, and it'll really help you learn how everything works. But still, it's not something that you can just go on there and be like, can someone walk me through setting up a Minecraft server? It's not going to happen. So like I said, it's a major time investment. There's a lot of stuff that you have to learn from just getting out there and doing it. And like I said, I mean, I've talked for like 30 minutes now about just like before, not even like actually walking you through anything. We've been talking about for 30 minutes of just, you know, should this be something you want to do? I mean, is this something you're even capable of doing? And, you know, so you can imagine how much time you're going to spend trying to get this stuff set up. And, you know, maybe you've got a friend that is really good at this stuff and they can help you out with it. And if you do, that's great. I've relied on many people over the years to help me get started with things, and it's helped increase my knowledge of stuff. But like I said, even after doing it for 6 years, there's still a ton of stuff that I don't know. So, like I said, don't ask me in the comments to create a video on how to create a Minecraft server, because honestly, like I said, everything listed in this video is just, I mean, there's so many things that you can do in Minecraft. There's not just one way to create a Minecraft server. There's different server modes. There's different server types. There's, you know, the need for multiple servers, hub servers, Bungie servers, the game servers themselves. And a lot of times stuff like that, when you start getting into bigger networks, takes custom coding. So if you want custom things done, you either need to find a programmer or learn how to program yourself, which is just another nightmare just waiting to be unfolded. So, you know, like I said, I'm not trying to scare anybody away. I'm not trying to say this is stupid, don't do this. It's just you have to be doing it for the right reasons, and you have to want to do this. You can't just make a Minecraft server overnight and become super popular. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes effort, it takes research, it takes lots of money, and, you know, just man hours in general. So that is why I have never told anyone how to make a Minecraft server. That is why I probably never will tell anyone how to make a Minecraft server. And I hope you guys can understand that and appreciate why I have never done that type of video. I mean, like I said, it would be easy views to be able to be like, oh, here's how you make a Minecraft server. But I don't want to mislead people. I don't want to just say, well, it's so simple, because it's not. You know, like I said, if you just want to play with your friends, then yeah, it is pretty simple. But if you want to do anything else, it really isn't. So hopefully you guys had fun in this video. If you did, let me know by leaving a comment with, you know, maybe something you learned. What was the most interesting thing that you heard me say, or maybe something that you didn't even know existed. And I will see you guys again in the next videos. Don't forget that this is a channel where this sort of thing will be on here regularly. It'll be like talks about different things. I think I might even end up calling this video like Ask RJ, because if you guys have questions, I'm more than willing to sit down and answer them, but it's just, I don't like to kind of gloss over things. I try to give people as much information up front as they can so that they can realize, is this really something I should be doing or not? Because I want, like, when I do something, I like to be fully informed about everything involved. I like to know, step 1 through step 100 before I begin, so that way when I get into it, I already know what I'm doing and I can move along with it. But if you just tell someone step 1 and step 100, they're like, oh, so I start there and there. Oh, that's so easy. But they don't realize there are 98 steps in between that they kind of forgot to mention. So, like I said, let me know what you thought of this video. If you want to see more stuff like this, make sure to subscribe, turn those notifications on, and I will see you guys again in the next video. Thank you for watching the BroZone, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, everybody.